welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. And well, welcome to the visitors that are in Scarborough right now. I mean, I'm seeing 2 cruise ships right now in the harbor. They were not there when I came in this morning, but it's great to see as we're winding down with the cruise ships season right here in Tobago. Now, viewers, we're switching over to security, and of course, we have Inspector Anderson Alfred from the TTPS here this morning with us. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning to you as well, and thank you for having me here.
Great. Now, so we can start with just a little update on what's been happening in Tobago, security-wise. You know, have you been seeing a rise in criminal activity?
Well, I'm proud to say that for Tobago Division, last year, for this corresponding period, we had a total of 158 serious crimes. But for this year, thanks to our crime-fighting efforts and the work of the community with the police, we only have 101. That's a 57 difference and a 56% decrease in serious crime. So I say hats off to my colleagues and hats off to the community of Tobago.
And what would you attribute that, success to?
Partnership and astute leadership of the Tobago Division with the community. I must say as well that we have been doing quite well in relation to firearm seizures. For every week of this month, we had a firearm seized. We had 2 firearm seized for the month of March and a total of 24 rounds, 9mm ammunition. It means to say that we saved 24 lives.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did quite well, and we are continuing this trend.
And you guys are monitoring also what's coming in via our ports?
Indeed, indeed. So our port police officers and the customs officers, even our immigration officers, we have in one partnership, we have one vision in making Tobago safe.
Great.
Yes.
So is there like a list or something like that of people to look forward to, or is it just based on sort of monitoring the passengers that are coming across?
It's both.
Okay.
Both that you mentioned, because indeed there will be, and there are always priority offenders that we are looking out for, and also with the information and from the intelligence that we gather from the general public and from our policing efforts, we put that all together to make our efforts targeted and intelligence-based.
Now, I want to switch to a rising problem, especially within our young people, and that is school violence.
Yes.
We are unfortunately seeing a rise in school violence, not just in Trinidad, but here in Tobago. Can you give us a perspective on what's been happening? What have you guys been noticing or seeing?
Well, particularly there is the display of school violence on social media. It seems as though that persons are prone to, or they're enticed to sharing these unfortunate incidents of school fights and confrontation. So what we are saying is that we are on top of the situation in the police service. Our method of dealing with it is multi-pronged in that we are working with the school administration to deal with these issues, to address these issues. We're also dealing with the school security system that they have in place, because there are security officers based at these schools, but they need to be, as we have observed, to be empowered and to be edified in relation to dealing with school children in the acts of violence, because they have certain powers. Also, the children have certain rights that must be maintained, because there are practices within the Judges Rule and the Child Act that must be adhered to ensure that the child is not subject to any malpractice or unfairness. Because prosecution before the court is the very last stage, because there's consultation, there's rehabilitation, there's the intervention of a social worker, there's the community aspect of it, and also addressing the families. So what we try to say is that we want to start with all agencies on board with one agenda. That is the rehabilitation of the school, the children, and the persons that may have been targeted or may have been identified as persons with the propensity to commit these acts of violence.
Now, can some students be arrested for school violence?
Indeed, but as I said before, that arresting the child is the very last resort as it comes to, and it depends on the degree of the activity that they're involved in. So what we try to do, like for this program that we are doing here, we are dealing with all the persons involved. For example, this location where we're at is a typical example. What we did, we worked with the administration or the management of this, this space that we are in right now in putting up signs. If you observe that there are signs downstairs that state that school children are not...
And this is, of course, in the Port Mall?
Yes, indeed, yes. The school children are not allowed to be on the property during school hours, after school hours in uniform. Those are some of the preventative measures that we have been able to put together with our stakeholders.
And yes, viewers, I mean, I think coming on to the end of last year, I mean, there was so many fights that broke out in this building.
Indeed. So, yeah, we
Yeah.
had to take action. And we did indeed, and we are seeing the success of it. I'm sure for this year, there has never been any further incident that the police were not able to deal with quickly and in a proper manner, ensuring that the rights of the child are enforced and maintained.
Now, what happens like when you encounter a child that has a propensity to be violent in school, start the fights, etc.? You know, I mean, I know that you also reach out to the parents,
Yes,
get
we
the
do.
parents involved, because of course that's a important role.
Yes.
What's the reaction like when
Well,
you're dealing with some of these parents?
Like I tell you, the message that we send out first is do not be afraid to parent your child. Right? That is your sole responsibility. The guardian or the responsible adult who is tasked with the responsibility of taking care of a child, your responsibility is to parent that child. So we are saying responsibility is multidimensional. You are responsible for the health and welfare of the child and for that child reaction to situation. You must prepare a child to go into a school environment. We came out of 2 years from a pandemic, and you are able to assimilate back into the school society, but you're going to encounter some social barriers and boundaries that you must adhere to. So when we deal with the parents, we tell them that you can intervene, and you should intervene in a child's school life legally. So if you saw on social media, there was an adult that got involved in a fracas involving children. So we are saying do not take vigilante justice, do not take justice into your own hands, because you as the adult, you will be charged and will be dealt with according to law. There's a process in dealing with it. So before we get into the arresting stage, we do consultation. The school normally has their social workers assigned to that school, the guidance counselors. There's also the children authority. We have within the TTPS, the community police secretariat. They are responsible for visiting schools and going and creating a relationship with the school body. So therefore, there is steps before we get into the court that could deal with the situation, because if the situation can be dealt with before taking a child before the children court, there is an avenue and there's opportunity for rehabilitation. And that's what we're about.
Now, I mean, a lot of parents, sometimes parents feel powerless because a child may be constantly bullied in school, and there seems to be no redress. It may seem that the school might not be taking the report seriously, and that the parents of the child doing the bullying and so on may not even be, taking the corrective measures. So what should that parent do to avoid going into the school and, attacking the students?
Okay, so what we try to do is that we want to encourage all parents or all persons responsible for children to attend the PTAs. That's where the issues are aired. You'll hear from other parents likewise, and you'll be surprised at the behavior of your child, because sometimes the children have one behavior and one character at home and a different character and behavior at school. And I attend PTA in my children's school, and we understand that we always hear that the parents who are supposed to be in the meetings do not attend.
Yes.
Because they are a distance from the information that it relates to their child's behavior. So what we try to do is to encourage the teachers, the school administration, to reach out to their social partners. That includes the police officers. There are officers that are trained in communicating with children. There are officers that are trained in counseling children. We at the, I can't say for the Chauvin Road Police Station, we have an open door policy to schools. They can come and have a discussion with us. They even tour our building.
Now, I wanted to repeat that because I know that there are parents listening that feel powerless.
Then, I always say that we are there to serve the public. So when we have issues, because parents reach out to us and they ask if on behalf of the school, they can bring their particular class without targeting a particular student to come to the station and have a discussion with the officers whilst on duty. I want to they tour the wonderful facility of the Chauvin Road Police Station, which is equipped with a detention center for children. Then they understand that this is the situation that leads, this is where your action can lead to. And it works, and it changed their perspective on how their actions have consequences.
So you've seen some success?
We have seen tremendous success. Tremendous.
And then are officers willing to also step in as mentors for some of these children who may not have some good role models in their lives?
Yes, we know, because what we have as one of our strategies is for students, or sorry, for police officers to be assigned to schools. That's one of our main strategies. So the police officer has adopted the school, and that police officer is responsible for regular visits, regular checkups, taking reports, and interacting with students, the teaching body, and the administration. So that officer has to submit regular reports as to the status of that school. Anything that takes place within that school on a crime level or even on a social level is the responsibility of the officer who has been assigned to that school itself.
All right. Well, Officer Alfred,
Yes.
Inspector Alfred, well, thank you so much for being on. And viewers, this is such important information
Indeed.
because, we're in a situation we're dealing with a lot of mental problems within our student population, especially coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've seen it manifested in so many different ways, unfortunately, on social media and things like that. And the police is here to protect and to serve, not to arrest, to protect and serve.
Correct.
I mean, of course, arresting is some of the things that they do, but first of all, their mandate is to protect and serve.
Indeed, yes.
All right, again, thank you so much for being on with us. And viewers, if you have any issues, feel free to reach out. Hold Inspector Alfred to his commitment that he gave, that you can bring your children. You could, link with the police officers, especially at the Sherburne Road Police Station, or even at any of the other any of the police stations, and get the help and the assistance that you need, even if it's just somebody to talk to. The police are there.
Indeed, thank you.
Great. All right, viewers. So we still got more coming up for you on the program. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.